We are recording. This is a get to know me better game. And so I found this online and I thought it would be something fun for us to do this weekend. So I am recording your responses. But what this is, it's a game called Tales. It's an interview kit that kind of talks about different experiences in your life. So we may know some of the answers to these already. Some of these we may not know the answers, but we're curious to know. So the cards are divided up in 3 different sections. So each of us have had a section. Mercedes had early life, Nikki had midlife, I had later life and reflection. So we're going to start with early life and advance through the different stages of your life. And ask you various questions. So what we're going to do is you can select one of the cards that we've got here, and we're going to start with early life. And then you can read it out loud. And then, or the person who answered those will select a card. We'll read it out loud. You can look at the card and then we'll look for your responses. So these are going to be open-ended questions for you so we can kind of get to know you a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Mercedes had early life, right?
I did.
So we're going to give Mercedes the questions that she chose. She's going to ask you these questions, and then one at a time, and then we're gonna let you respond.
So I have 6 questions. I was supposed to choose 5, but I had a difficult time narrowing it down, and Tamara said it was okay for me to have 6. So one of the questions that I have says, what were your parents like?
Good question.
They're all good questions.
Hardworking,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say responsible. And they did whatever they did to raise a bunch of boys. And I don't know, I'm not really a good talker per se, you know. But anyway, I thought they was good parents, you know. I have no complaints.
Can I have follow-up
Absolutely,
questions?
yes. This is dialogue conversation. So if there are probing questions, follow-up questions by any of us, we'll ask those too. So please.
Well, let me just say this. Maybe you
Yeah.
should get them too when they asking the question. You just hear a voice.
Okay.
But then again, connect the voice with the face.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, my follow-up question is, I feel like Grandma Mary probably whooped y'all a bunch. So one of my memories is her like whooping people with a fly swatter. I don't know why I have that memory, but what about that? I know they were hardworking and everything, but did you get in, like, how was that? What happened when you got in trouble? What happened when you got in trouble?
Well, on typical solution or whatever too, and contrary to popular belief, it was not with a fly swatter. You go out and find you a switch, and you better not come back with a small. And then they would plait it up, and you know the rest. They wore you out.
Did you get whooped a lot?
No, but
You fell in line.
Yeah, I fell in line. And I tell you, a funny thing that happened and stuff, myself and my older brother, we had sneaked off and went to the movies and stuff. We ain't had no money and stuff, you know. And we were sitting right across the street from the theater and seeing this white couple go into the movie. And then a little wind, a gust of wind came up, and they blew the money on the ground, and they didn't see it. So when they didn't see the money, I ran across the street, grabbed the money, and that was our way to the movie. And later on, halfway through the movie, the movie theater attendant came up and said, "It's so-and-so and so-and-so up here. Your parents looking for you." All of a sudden, that was us. So on the way home, we decided that we was going to stop, we found some cardboard and put in our pants to cut down on some of them licks. And lo and behold, oh no, we're not whooping no pants.
Oh.
We whooping some natural hind. Woo. Yeah, so we got a whipping for that. Yep.
Was it worth it?
No. Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. But we suffered the consequence for sneaking off from home and going to see a movie. And didn't have no money.
Well,
I got a question. Do you remember the movie that you went to go see? When you got in trouble, what was the movie? Do you remember?
I cannot recall the actual movie, but it was quite a few people in the movies at that time. And I guess I was embarrassed. They didn't call our name, but they called so-and-so and so-and-so. Children come up here, you know, your parents looking for you. So that was us and stuff, you know. And, you know, you get that look when everybody's going out. You know, they got lights out in the place, but everybody's looking. But I certainly don't remember that movie or whatever, too. But like I say, was it worth it? Yes and no. I get a chance to see a movie, no money, got popcorn and all that other stuff. And got a beating on top of it. So I guess you got the ice cream or the cake with icing on the top. The icing on the top with the whipping.
how did they even know y'all were there?
I don't know how they knew that and stuff, you know, but it was interesting.
And what sibling were you with?
My brother, Jackie.
Jackie. Okay. You think he remembers that story? Have y'all talked about that before since then?
No, we hadn't really talked about it and stuff, you know, but it's still in the back of my, locked in my mind here and stuff, you know.
That's funny. I
Love that. Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. So I look good on this camera. I don't know who's gonna see this later, but hello from 2024. This is Mercedes. So one of the questions that I have is, what's the happiest memory from your childhood? The happiest memory.
I don't know if it was a happiest memory, but I remember aunt of mine had passed away, and the house that she lived in, it got gutted by fire, and myself, along with some other friends, was searching through the house because this one particular aunt says, guess what? She has some money. And we ramble and ramble and ramble, and we found a bunch of money. And it was burnt, but guess what? All of it was not burnt up and stuff, you know. So me and this other friend of mine and stuff, you know, since we found the money, well, we're going to keep about $30. And they gave the rest of it to the family member, but I don't know how much money it was, but it was a stack of money. And all that money didn't get burnt up.
Wow.
Y'all kept some.
$30.
$30.
And it was burnt too.
How long ago? When was that? Because I'm trying to get a reference of how much $30 was.
Well, I'm thinking that was early high school time or whatever too, you know. So it was quite a few years ago and stuff, you know.
60s, not sometime in the 60s.
Yeah.
So how much do you think it was equivalent to for right now?
Right now, well, $10, $20 now, probably worth about $2, $3. That's it.
So $10 now, so about 5 times as much.
Yeah, easy,
Oh,
easy.
okay.
Yeah, oh yeah. When you consider you could buy a soft drink, 5 cents. I still had 95 cents left.
Yeah, that seems like it might be more than 5 times.
It could have been because things have really, should I say, escalated since then and stuff. You know, the power of the dollar. It went further then than it does now and stuff. You know. So that was interesting.
Okay. So Here's one. Did you work as a teenager, and what did you do?
As a teenager, or even before, I cut lawns, and I worked in my dad's cafe, and I don't never really receiving money, but the lawn care that I was doing, 50 cents an hour to cut grass. And they didn't, if you took 1 yard and you took an hour, and it might have been worth more than that, triple that amount, but you got paid for the hour. So you got 50 cents or either $1. That was it. That's it. Yeah.
Was that good money for back then?
Probably because I didn't know what the value of $1 was during that time, what have you. I didn't know how much money people made per se. So I thought it was okay. Yeah, I thought it was okay.
I didn't know. And you still like to cut grass now?
You do. You've been doing that a long time.
I had good training.
I didn't know that.
Okay, so
Wait, I have a question.
Oh, okay.
So how did you promote your business? How did people know that you were cutting grass for the people in the neighborhood, I guess?
Well, it wasn't so much that much cutting in the neighborhood or what have you. My dad worked at a bank as a janitor, and he knew the owner of the bank, and he would hire me to mow his grass and stuff,
Okay.
and even babysit too.
So you were cutting the white folk grass.
Yeah, exclusively, and babysitting too, and babysitting. Yeah.
You remember the family's name?
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. I can't even think right now, but it'll come to me and stuff,
okay.
It'll come to me, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So your dad worked at in the bank as a janitor, and then you said
He owned the cafe, he said.
he did both. 'Cause
Well-
that was breakfast and lunch. I thought.
Well, he ran a cafe, eating establishment, what have you, and he kept that for a number of years or whatever, and basically the place that he was working at, worked at, the building was actually leased. He didn't own it, but he had to pay rent on the building and what have you, And basically what happened was that after years and years of in that location or whatever too, and everybody in town would always stop in there for breakfast and lunch or whatever too. And some stop in for late evening meals or whatever too, but it wasn't open that late at night or whatever too, But it was just for a brief period. The rest of the time was spent cleaning up, what have you. But the people who owned the space was the bank that he worked for and stuff, So eventually they sold it, the spot. And what they did with the spot was just create a parking lot,
Oh wow.
which was a waste. So it was a black-owned enterprise, what have you, and it was successful because everybody would come there and eat and stuff, and had the best food in town.
For a parking lot.
Yeah, for a parking lot.
Sad.
Yeah,
Wow.
a black business destroyed.
Yeah. Do you remember what the name of the cafe was called?
I think it was Duck Davis, and that was my granddad's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he named it after your grandfather? Or your I thought your father's name was Duck.
No, that was
That was Kitty Cool.
yeah. My granddad was named. Check this out, Clovis Davis.
Louise.
Yeah,
Was
and
he named after two people? That sound like Cletus and Louise combined.
I'm not really sure. And I never did question, the name or none of that too, But I just went with the flow. Yeah, went with the flow.
So who was Duck?
Yeah, because I've heard that name before.
That's Mr. Backbone name.
That's
Mr.
where I
Moore.
just, yes.
Mr. Moore
Okay.
go by Duck.
Okay,
Yeah, but
that's
he
what I heard.
well, he was Duck too.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was your grandfather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Another question for early life, or we move into the next section?
No, I got 3 more questions.
Okay.
This question says, what was your childhood home like?
Oh, what was your childhood home like? It was like, going to school and just doing chores in the afternoon and stuff, you know. And basically we had to walk to school. School was approximately probably about 3 to 5 miles from where I lived. And there was a white school, was much closer, about 2 blocks away. Blacks weren't allowed to go. So in other words, we went to all black school. And when it rained, we had this person down the street. His name was Raymond Sims. He had a car. And another person named Bud Johnson. And when it rained, all the kids in the neighborhood would pile in his car, and he would take it to school. Yeah.
That was nice.
And then my great grandmother, she used to walk us to school.
What was her name?
Viola Smith.
Viola Smith.
Smith, yeah. Oh yeah. She used to walk us to school.
And where does she live in relation to you guys?
Next door.
Okay.
Yeah, next door.
I don't think I've ever heard her name
So,
before.
me either. So the house that's not there anymore, that's the house that you grew up in.
No.
No, you grew up in Gully Town.
I don't
I
think
thought.
I know where that is. Is that where close? No, because Uncle Jackie moved.
No, it wasn't. He wasn't even there, whatever, too. In relationship to where that house is, where I grew up at, it was like you said, it was Gullet Town. And where it is, the property is still there today, but there's no houses there. In relationship to direction, it sits right behind the courthouse. Right behind the courthouse in Washington.
I don't think I. Where's the courthouse?
You remember that little square that you went
remember the
around?
square?
Yes, I know where the square
Okay.
is.
There's a road coming through town, and you go down that square. Right here, that U, that's the courthouse.
Okay.
And it was behind there.
Behind there,
I
yeah.
don't think I've ever been down there before. Have y'all ever been down there before?
Yes.
Probably a long time ago. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily remember it.
Yeah, that's where
Matt used to stay
live in there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Matt lived in that. She lived right next door. And her mother, my grandmother, you know,
Was that Viola or who was that?
Viola.
Okay.
Yeah. She was in her late 90s when she passed and stuff, and her hair never was white.
Wow.
Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper, that was it. And she had that good straight hair, too. Yeah.
Who was white? I feel like somebody was white. Because your
Well-
daddy was light bright.
The man that she married was an Irishman, from what I know. People talking. And his name was Jeff Smith.
That's who you looked up on that thing that time.
Jeff Smith, yeah. And there was a picture of him, too, that used to hang on the wall in their house and stuff. Ask me what happened to that picture. I do not know. Yeah.
So, was she real light skinned too?
No, she wasn't real light skinned, about my complexion, I guess, and stuff.
But she had straight hair?
Straight hair, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was she black?
Yeah, she was black.
What was her maiden name? Because Smith is a very white name.
I know.
I want to
I-
That was
And how
her
did they
husband's
how did they
name,
live
James.
in Washington and they was mixed like that?
He was Irish, she said.
Well, that was many, many years ago and stuff, too, you know. And how did they live there? I do not know and stuff, you know. And I always heard, it never was confirmed or whatever, too, that maybe they always talk about she got some Indian in Cherokee or something, you know. So I don't know. And maybe in view of her complexion and her husband, he just kind of blended in, I guess. I don't know. That was way before my time and stuff. I never didn't know him. But I did know my grandmother, and she ended up and taught me how to tie shoes up.
So, was that your grandfather?
Yeah.
So the white man was your grandfather?
That's what I'm thinking.
Jeff
Jeff
Smith.
Smith was your grandfather?
Great.
Aunt Matt, they was all light bright.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
super light, so I guess that's why.
Yeah, but my other aunt, my dad's mom, she was brown skinned and stuff, you know, and her hair was straight too. And she
Your
always,
dad's mom,
uh-huh,
your aunt. So your grandmother's sister.
yeah,
She was brown skinned.
Yeah.
You say your grandmother was brown skinned too.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm, yeah.
I don't know.
And she would always do her hair and stuff, you know, and had two balls on the side, around and around and stuff, you know, with a part right down the middle. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I guess that explains a few things. Well,
Yeah.
your hair, because your hair doesn't nap. Your hair doesn't nap. Mine does. Nikki's does. But y'all hair is different. But I guess that's why.
Maybe got a strand of DNA in there somewhere. I
Well, you
don't
know, Daddy's DNA, 40%. Did you tell him where the 40% came from?
No.
His DNA.
Nigeria, right?
40%.
That's significant.
That's almost half.
I'm African.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So we're from Nigeria too.
Mm-hmm.
Who's from Nigeria?
It must be gotta be on Mary Lou Davis' side.
I don't know.
Because the other side is
40%.
Irish.
Yeah.
40%.
So what's about the other 60? What's up with that?
It's all mixed.
It's all
It's all
mixed.
very low level.
Yeah. Low level.
Very
Interesting.
level 1%.
Did you do yours?
No, we just did Daddy's.
Interesting.
So you're gonna have a lot of
know that.
Nigerian in yours.
Yeah.
All of us are.
We need to add that to the list of
Yeah.
places to visit. It's the motherland for sure.
That's why people
Ooh.
at church think that I am something else that I'm not.
What do they think you are?
I think people see me, and sometimes I think people can look at your features and they think that you are the same, right? Like there's a familiarity.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have a lot of people from the continent that go to my church, what have you. And sometimes I feel like I get that.
From the continent of Africa.
Africa.
Yeah, from different countries, Nigerian and Kenya and so forth,
Yeah.
and Zimbabwe,
Oh, yeah.
just different countries. But you don't ever feel like you've been where people feel like you're something else. Like I feel like I get that look because I enjoy wearing cultural based clothing or what have you, and with my hair,